Hi, my name is Thomas, and I'm pleased to introduce you to some of the progress made by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints here in Ireland. In January 1840, Apostle John Taylor arrived in England as a missionary for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and began preaching in Liverpool. Within a few months, he had baptized enough people to create a branch of the church there. Several of these Liverpool converts were actually from Ireland, as 1 in 7 were at that time. 2 such Irish converts in Liverpool were William Black and James McGuffey. On July 27, 1840, the two accompanied Elder Taylor back to their birthplaces in Ireland. Returning home to Newry, James McGuffey located a hall where they could preach, and notice of the meeting was made. John Taylor then introduced the restored gospel of Jesus Christ for the first time to the people in Ireland. 600 to 700 Irish men and women packed the sessions hall that evening out of curiosity. The missionaries were disappointed, however, when few returned the following evening to learn more. Elder Taylor then left James McGuffey in Newry to continue teaching, while he and William Black continued on towards Belfast. They were joined in their journey by an interested Thomas Tate, a non-member Bible reader whom Elder Taylor had met previously in Liverpool. As they travelled, they discussed this restored gospel. Emerging from behind a hill, Mr. Tate noticed a lake coming into view at Lough Brickland, and quoting the eunuch from Acts 8, who had been conversing with Philip, Thomas inquired of Elder Taylor, "There is water, what doth hinder me being baptized?" Accordingly, Elder Taylor performed the first Latter-day Saint baptism in Ireland in this dispensation, here in this lake, by immersion. For the next few days, Elder Taylor continued his preaching around Belfast, but within a week he moved on to pursue other appointments in Scotland. My friend Sarah will tell you more.
Ireland has had an interesting and sometimes turbulent religious past. About 432 AD, a Christian priest known as St. Patrick felt called of the Lord to return here, and through his efforts is believed to have converted nearly an entire island from paganism to Christianity. Roman Catholic beliefs flourished here until 1534, when King Henry VIII severed his ties with the church and declared himself both a political and spiritual leader of the realm. He attempted to force acceptance of his version of a church reformation upon his entire kingdom. He offered tremendous advantages and political power to those who turned from Catholicism in favour of his own church, the Church of England, or here, the Church of Ireland. Many resisted. In the early 1600s, Ireland was divided into counties, and large tracts of northern land were offered to British Protestants who would come here and foster Protestant ideologies upon these lands. Laws were enacted which restricted Catholics from political posts, from educational opportunities, and even from the right to bear arms. In essence, for nearly 300 years, laws were imposed to intentionally encourage a turn from Catholicism to Protestantism, but in reality, such only served to strengthen bonds between Catholics and their faith. The religious tension that followed fueled wars and skirmishes, which became a way of life here for centuries to follow.
Solidifying the bond between Catholics and their Catholic faith was a great hindrance to the missionaries in the south. The issue that really hampered acceptance of the restored gospel of Jesus Christ in the north was the control which the landlords held over their tenants and employees. They not only used their influence to oppose Catholicism there, but they also opposed others. Anytime these landlords suspected that their tenants were moving away from their faiths, which they themselves fostered, they could expel them from their property, terminate their employment, and have them excommunicated from their faith. Landlords aggressively wielded this power against those who entertained missionaries of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, or even gave them opportunity to present their faith. A mere interest became grounds for expulsion. The safest course was to not allow the missionaries to share their message at all, but some missionaries were creative enough and bold enough to get their presentations heard.
Theodore Curtis had been a successful missionary in New York prior to being sent to Ireland. He began working in Hillsborough in the autumn of 1840, and within several months he could account for 14 new members. North of Belfast, Mr. and Mrs. Bell were introduced to the gospel through a letter sent to them by their daughter, who had recently become a Latter-day Saint in Scotland. Feeling prompted to visit her in Paisley, within 2 days they were baptized and opened their home to any missionary who would come preaching this restored gospel in their area. David Wilkie took advantage of the opportunity and proselyted near the Bell Farm in Crawfordsburn. Before long, they had a branch of 22 new converts there.
Growth continued gradually until there were 72 members in Ulster by 1845. But from them to 1847, conversions nearly ceased. A devastating famine had hit all of Ireland, and many were struggling to live. During this period, over 1 million Irishmen died, and 3 million others migrated to places, like England, where circumstances were more favourable. The only silver lining of the famine was a loosening of the iron grip the large landholders held upon their tenants.
Many Irish discovered the restored gospel in England after relocating there. One such Irish family was that of Charles A. Callis, who with his mother and siblings joined the church in Liverpool when he was 8 years old. Charles went on to become a civic and religious leader in America. He returned as a missionary from 1892 to 1895 and was called in 1933 to fill a vacancy created in the Quorum of the 12 Apostles by the death of British-born James E. Talmage. Other Irish citizens converted while sailing aboard American-bound ships chartered by Latter-day Saints.
But with the loosened grip, conversions also slowly continued in Ireland, where by 1856 there were over 200 converts. As has been the case so many times in Ireland, after a hopeful period of growth, an obstacle is strewn across the gospel's onward path that breaks the growing momentum. In 1857, that obstacle was the Utah War, which resulted in the recall of all missionaries to come home and defend their interests there. This time they didn't return until 1861. Yet again, when circumstances improved, so did conversions.
In spite of the obstacles and the outward migration and the protests and the efforts to thwart the work of God here and the divided nations and the accumulated hostilities, on October 23rd, 1985, there was a quiet and peaceful occurrence here at this lake near the Northern Ireland town of Loughbrickland. Again, an apostle of the Lord was here to offer a solemn prayer with a handful of church leaders present, including my own grandfather Connolly. Elder Neil A. Maxwell dedicated all the land of Ireland, both Northern and Republic, to the spreading of the gospel of Jesus Christ and to the more complete establishment of the church here. In his prayer, he implored, "We plead with thee to look with fresh favour upon all of Ireland, to the end that where there has been strife, may there be peace, and if not full peace, enough peace, for thy cause to move forward as never before."
He added, "May thy soothing spirit, Father, encourage reconciliation. May church members and missionaries alike in Ireland be blessed to bring such a hastening to pass, a quiet hastening such as has never been before in this island. Bless thy members and thy saints here with deepened discipleship, deepened determination, and the precious guidance of the Holy Spirit. May radiance flow from their countenances."
He concluded this wonderful dedicatory prayer by saying, "May their sons and daughters be married in holy temples and go on missions. May added love be in their homes and in their hearts." Much of this prayer has been fulfilled as the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has grown here. I myself have realized those blessings which were invoked here. I have been sealed and eternally married to my husband in one of these holy temples. It has been one of the greatest highlights of my life to do so. It has brought me such incredible peace.
I have served a mission for the church and have been privileged to make sacred covenants in one of these holy temples as well. I have felt the priceless guidance of the Holy Spirit in many aspects of my life, and I invite you, each of you, to gain those experiences yourself as well. They can be yours. They can bless your life as they have blessed my own.
Thank you for your time today. May the Spirit that rests upon this place bring you that lasting peace that only Jesus Christ can offer, is our prayer for you. May his peace eternally be yours.